Gourmet Tethi was the only F2 running and held the honor of being in last, but would take full championship points for this round. As the crews returned to service at Lake Naivasha Sopa Lodge, there was a chance to regroup and blow out the dust before the short section on Akila Farm. Baldev Chaga was relaxed about the day's progress.
Obviously the national title is the most important thing here. Stage times and positions are not such a priority. It's the maximum amount of points we need to get just to stay ahead of Tundo to seal the championship. That's the priority. So trying to keep it clean and tidy, although it's becoming very difficult to do that because the surface is just breaking up so much and it's becoming literally undrivable in some places. And we're unpaired on the road now after 60 rally cars have been through. I wonder what it's going to be like. So just going to take it as it comes, basically.
Ian Duncan held a narrow lead but knew there was still lots of work to do. The rally was still wide open.
Yeah, they were quite hard and dusty and rough. Okay, obviously it's better in a rally car than in a recce car, but it's still not easy. But yeah, we're doing okay so far.
Tundo was disappointed to lose time with a puncture and could only hope he wouldn't be the only one.
CS1 went well. We caught everyone asleep. We really pushed through there. Second one we decided to back off a bit, but there's so many hidden rocks in there. We hit a rock and got a rear puncture and bent the arm. Had to stop and change it, so we lost about 3 minutes doing that. But then we got caught in Moto's dust, so we dropped another 3 minutes in that. So no, not good at the moment, but enjoyed the first section.
Quintin Mitchell struggled to get the car into service and his crew would have their work cut out to change the clutch in time. Azhar Anwar was fuming at the news that he would be penalized for going off the road to pass Kavanagh. He was fortunate not to get disqualified.
We are settling in, but we're having it really rough with dust. The organizers, they're really risking our lives, putting slow cars in front of us.
Within the first kilometer, we got a puncture, and I think we took probably about 4 or 5 minutes changing the tire. We lost wheel nuts, so we had to look for them and put them on, and then we couldn't get a good rhythm through. But it's okay, we'll see how it goes now.
John Nganga's Impreza was looking a little worse for wear after an encounter with the scenery, but the crew were working hard to get it out again for the next stage. The classic crews were enjoying a chance to get some testing miles in before the cars went back to prepare for the big event.
Well, I understand some of these stages could possibly be in the event, so yeah, they obviously are the right place to come and compete.
After a cold drink and a chance to refresh, the crews headed to the short 12-kilometer stage on Akila Farm on the northern side of Lake Naivasha. Compared to the first two stages, it would be a racetrack and there wouldn't be much opportunity to recover time lost on the long stage. From the middle of the stage, it was possible to see the dust trails of those trails struggling through stage 2. Carl Tundo was back up to speed and went quickest, setting a time of 7 minutes and 3 seconds. He overhauled Quintin Mitchell to move up to 6th overall. Ian Duncan was second quickest, only 5 seconds behind, but was 15 seconds faster than Chaga to open up a 32-second lead. Chaga was third fastest but was losing ground to Duncan. He had more at stake and didn't want to make a mistake. Jasi Chathe was 4th fastest to consolidate 3rd overall and was only 2 seconds slower than Chaga in their rival Evo 10. Quintin Mitchell picked up 2 minutes 30 seconds penalty for leaving service late and started the stage 5th on the road. He went 5th fastest and despite the penalty remained in 7th overall. Manvir Baryan was 6th fastest to move back up into 10th overall, which he shared with Imran Mogul. Rajbir Rai was 4 seconds slower than Baryan but went 13 seconds faster than Onka to increase his lead over his cousin to 12 seconds in the battle for 4th overall. Onka was 8th fastest, losing time to Rajbir, but was enjoying a good run in the new Evo 10. The Gremlins from Kisumu seemed to have been resolved and he was holding on to 5th. Jasmeet Chana was 9th fastest, only 2 seconds slower than Onka. He moved back up to 12th overall. Peter Hose found himself fast on the road and could only manage the 10th fastest time, 49 seconds slower than Tundo in 12 kilometers. Frank Tundo was struggling with an overheating engine, forcing him to turn off the anti-lag and back off. He was 13th fastest but was lying 9th overall. Imran Mogul shared 10th overall with Manvir Baryan. It's a shame he doesn't roll out the N12 more often. Alisdair Keith damaged the front suspension and was lucky to get through the stage without dropping too much time. Farhaz Khan was generous enough to lend him a spare after he had retired on the first stage. Geoff Bell was only a second slower than Keith and now held a 21-minute lead over Richard Jackson in the class. Jackson would complete the stage before opting to call it a day. It had been a good test for the two-till Porsche without causing unnecessary damage to the car.
This is the same car I used 2 years ago, and we're just testing it now to make sure it's up for the next event. The car's behaved very well this morning.
Rob Hellier would move into second in the class in the 160J and would hold this position to the end. A great result for the coast driver. He was over 7 minutes ahead of Aslam Khan. Aslam Khan will bring the Porsche home in third, scoring 50 points for the championship. He now led by 45 points but is unlikely to contest Mombasa, which means that Hardev Sira could still wrap up the championship if he finishes third or higher on the coast round. The SPV class had provided some good entertainment, with Yus Zubie winning the class in his Tornado. He also rounded out the top 20. The crews returned to the service park for another service and then a regroup to allow all the competitors to clear the stages before the rerun of the morning loop.
We started off okay, taking it a bit easy on the rough stuff, but unfortunately the second stage we broke our diff, so, as we lost a lot of time in that, but we managed to fix it in service. Guys did a good job, and that last stage was a lot of fun, really fun, that short one.
Yes, really good. Flash had a puncture, unfortunately, otherwise there's no way we were ever catching up with him. So now we just got to keep it going and not have any problems and try and keep it there, really.
Well, it's critical that we finish the Guru Nanak and that we try and gather some points. Unfortunately, after Kisumu, we're slightly behind in the championship, so we need every single point we can get. So critical that we finish. Yeah.
Stage 4, the repeat of the Longonot Ranch stage, was cancelled after so many cars got stuck in the morning. So the crews will face one last test, the long 45-kilometer Suswa to Kongoni section. Carl Tundo was fastest once again by 58 seconds, which moved him back up into third overall. A puncture on the second stage had almost certainly cost him the win, and not for the first time this season.
A few problems, but we got to the end.
Baldev Chaga went second fastest, but the stage was not without its dramas. He damaged a rear arm trying to get past Peter Hose, who was once again limping. It nearly cost him the rally, but in the end, luck will be on his side, as Duncan also got caught behind Hose, handing Chaga the victory.
Like you sewed it up?
We hope so. Car's driving a bit squiff, and that last stage went off in the dust of Horsey. I think it was having a problem, but yeah, let's get it to the service and back to Simba Union, and we should have it in the bag. Yeah, cool, man.
Duncan was fuming. He lost over a minute stuck behind Hosey, who had initially pulled over, only to pull back on the road as Ian approached. He then held Duncan for nearly 10 kilometers, costing him the win. In the end, the margin to Chaga was just 4 seconds.
Just got held up by Horsey. Okay, I think he stopped to look for us, and then the trouble was when he drove off when we could even see him. So it was like right on the end bit where it's really fast where they've graded it. So yeah, so that cost us a lot of time, and then so Baldy beat us by 4 seconds.
Onkarai went third fastest on the stage, which moved him ahead of Rajbir and up into fourth. It had been a good battle all rally between the cousins. Rajbir could only manage the 7th fastest time, dropping 20 seconds to Onka and falling back to 5th. It was another great result for the Evo 10 driver. Quinton Mitchell went 6th fastest to move back up the leaderboard to 6th overall. It had been a miserable outing for the N16 driver on a rally that should have favoured his road position.
Yeah, very tough day out there. Glad to be back.
Yeah, what happened?
Everything from getting stuck, clutch replacement, puncture. We're just glad to be home.
Azhar Anwar was 4th fastest to eventually finish 7th overall despite his penalty, which cost him 1 position. Jassi Chathe had been holding on to 3rd overall coming into the stage, but a puncture at the start cost him 5 minutes, dropping him back to 8th overall. It was a bitter blow after such a great performance once again.
Good rally, but quite disappointing towards the end getting a puncture. But it's rally, yeah.
Despite battling with an overheating car, Frank Tundo brought the Evo 9 home in 9th overall. It was a good result under the circumstances, but he would have liked to have finished in the top 5. Manvir Baryan had once again shown his potential. He too would have liked to have finished higher, but after dropping time on the second stage, 10th was a good fight back. Alisdair Keith made it through the long stage to clinch the S-Class win and close the gap on Chana to just 40 points. However, he was unaware that Chana almost caught him in the stage. This time around, Chana got past Halai, only to sit in Keith's dust. It had been a very difficult rally and he would leave wondering if he had been robbed of the title. Halai rounded out the top 3 in the S-Class and leaves the event 3rd in the championship. His only hope of winning now is if the others fail to finish in Mombasa. The crews headed back to the service park for one last check before the long transport section back to the Simba Union Club in Nairobi. For Baldev Chaga, it was a moment to reflect and allow the reality of winning the championship to sink in.
This is the reason why I'm champion this year. This has been my lucky charm this year. Little Miss Kareen Kaur Chaga. Hello to everybody. Hello.
The service park was a graveyard of cars that hadn't made it through the tough event. Out of 54 starters, only 23 crews made it to the finish ramp. The finish at the Simba Union Club was buzzing with excitement as the crews arrived back.
Yeah, I drove too fast in the last stage and BTN. No, actually.
Simple explanation.
Baldev Chaga won the 2013 Guru Nanak Rally to the delight of his home fans, and with it, the 2013 Kenya National Rally Championship.
Thank you, thank you, Rani! One more time, let's make some noise for the champion!
Navigated by Ravi Soni, the pair had started the season on a high with a win on the opening round in Kajiado. It would be the last rally they would compete in a Subaru before switching to the Mitsubishi Evo 10. Podiums followed in Nyeri, Voi and Nakuru before the crew bounced back to win Baldev's fast safari rally. They fought back after dropping to 17th to finish on the podium again in Kisumu before coming home to win the Guru Nanak Rally. Chaga had fought throughout the season with Ian Duncan and defending champion Carl Tundo, who both scored 2 wins each. But retirements for both drivers meant Chaga was able to pull clear after the safari. So, with the main championship sealed, there is still the runner-up position to be decided, and be sure Tundo and Duncan will be pushing for the win on the final round in Mombasa. Dennis Mwenda is the 2013 F2 champion, another worthy winner. He has been the front runner all season and will be back to defend his title in 2014. The S-Class Championship will go down to the wire in Mombasa with Chana, Keith and Halai all still in with a chance to win the title. Aslam Khan opens up a lead again in the classic car title. However, he will miss the last round as he prepares for the East African Safari Rally, which means if Hardev Sira finishes higher than 3rd in Mombasa, he could still take the 2013 crown. We head to the Kenyan coast for the 8th and final round of the 2013 Rally Championship. The event promises to be an exciting climax to a fantastic season of Kenyan rallying, and where better to celebrate than beside the pristine blue waters of the Indian Ocean. We'll see you there.